This episode of Jocks and Jills is brought to you by SharkNinja, and today we want to tell you about the Ninja Crispy. Whether you're whipping up quick single-serve meals in 7 minutes, sharing crispy snacks on the go, or serving a crowd, the Ninja Crispy makes it easy. The durable glassware withstands extreme temperature changes, so you can go right from frozen to crispy. Cleanup is simple. All accessories are dishwasher safe and designed to nest for easy storage. Experience the power of the #1 air fryer brand in Canada, SharkNinja and Ninja Kitchen, proud founding partner of the PWHL.
Hey, good reading.
Oh, thank you. That was stressful. There was a big word in there, honestly, and I skipped it. Okay, let's get into it. Episode 35 of Jocks and Jills. Tessa, we can't rant too much this time, even though we love our pre-headlines rants, because we have a lot to get into. Insane weekend in women's hockey, a real super Sunday in women's hockey yesterday. We're recording on Monday. Anything you want to touch up before we get into it? Yeah, we got a full show today.
Oh my God. Yeah, I got to send some love to Halifax because I did go to my event. I had a grand old time. It was amazing. I loved everybody. I had planned on, having some fun with everyone at dinner time a little bit afterwards, and then just kind of doing the old Irish exit where you just ninja dust out the back door before midnight because I had a 5 a.m. flight with Rod Black. And of course, that didn't happen. Next thing you know, it's 12:30. I'm smashing peach though with a bunch of people, sipping on a dirty rum and Coke, just having a grand old time, sending videos to their little girls who play baseball and hockey and whatever. I just had a wicked time. It was awesome. As always, East Coast, you never disappoint. Got to hang out with the boys from Spittin' Chicklets. They are actually very interested in our women's hockey league. By the way, I say our, we own it. We don't. They had so many questions. They just want to eat it all up. And they're busy and obviously they're doing a lot. They're beep-bopping around everywhere. But Wit and Biz, I felt like I was getting peppered. I felt like I was on Jeopardy with all of these questions that were being thrown my way. So thanks to those boys for showing some interest and some support. But for the most part, East Coast, I love you. I love you the most.
Love you, Halifax. That's awesome. Ever since we had Kelly Panic on the podcast, actually, I got addicted to the Spittin' Chicklets sandbaggers. I never watched them beforehand. I would ignore Liam.
I told them.
Yeah.
I was I got awesome. 2 people. I got Paetyn Levis and I got Kelly Panic. And Biz was like, but how good are they? I'm like, you're going to lose. And he was like,
he said that because I watched the Sandbaggers, Biz. He should not be chirping. Wit is the absolute stick of golfer. Anyways, that's awesome. I'm glad you had fun. I did pretty much nothing this weekend. Look around me though, Tessa. I look so bougie. If you guys are watching on YouTube or Spotify Liam. Video, no, you can't say Mr. Liam. I know I gave him some props because he had to do the heavy lifting. I did so much IKEA building yesterday. I totally redid my office. I've got a wardrobe here. Nothing's on the floor anymore. My cat litter's still next to me. It's just kind of part of my work process. But yeah, that's what I did yesterday. I built IKEA furniture and I watched women's hockey because it was a freaking crazy weekend in women's hockey.
The greatest.
Let's get to it right now. Headlines in the PWHL and women's hockey. Okay, Tessa, we touched on this one. We got to go a little bit back in time for this first story that we're talking about. Frolunda, the SDHL champions this year in just their 3rd year of existence. We teed up this story last week on the podcast when it first happened. We were in love with the story. We loved the gold helmets. And now we have the opportunity to sit down with your friend, Erika Holst, head coach of Frolunda, SDHL champions. Here it is. Okay, let's bring her in. SDHL champion. She's the head coach of Frolunda. Still rocking. I wish actually they'd give the coaches a gold bucket because the gold buckets were everything. Here she is, Erika Holst. How's it going? Thanks for coming on with us today.
Pretty good. Thanks for having me. It's great to see you guys.
No problem. What's it been like in the wake of the championship? Tell us about that celebration, everything with I mentioned the gold helmets already. They were the thing that caught my eye.
We love the gold helmets.
I didn't know everyone got one, and now I'm oh my gosh, obsessed.
We love the golden helmet. It's almost more important than the medal, actually, to get the golden helmet. It's the thing everyone wants. Yeah. So it's been kind of a crazy
want one
week.
Too.
Yeah.
You have one?
I do have one, or a few, but yeah.
Okay. Talk about the week. You and I were chit-chatting a little bit about the celebrations and what's taken place since you guys won.
Well, it's about a week ago, right? Sunday that we won the 3rd final. And obviously Sunday night was a pretty crazy celebration. And first at the rink and then some dinner and then going out with the team. And I don't know really how long the players were out on Sunday, but I hope for a really long time. And then it's been kind of happenings all along the week, and today we started training again. So it's been a good week.
Yeah, that's the thing, I guess, about being a coach or in the front office. You got to get right back at it, even if you win, eh?
Yeah, and we have some players getting ready for Worlds, so they got to get back on the ice and get ready this week, and then they're leaving next weekend. So, yeah.
That win was massive. So was there like a parade that took place for the ladies, or what was set up for them?
Well, it was actually a parade on Friday. Our men's team played their first quarterfinal, and there's a place in the city of Gothenburg where we're located, where the men's team have celebrated their championship medals before. So the parade was kind of from the practice rink through that place where the celebration is happening, and then we ended up at the rink and got celebrated also on the ice before the men's game. So that was super cool, and packed rink and a lot of people. So that was nice.
Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about the series leading up? We get to see the pictures and the celebration, and you guys knocking the champs off their throne, the 6-time champs off their throne. Can you tell us about the lead up? Like, how do you sweep a team like Lulea? I know that there was a little bit more context. We didn't talk about the whole championship series when we talked about the game initially. So can you talk about kind of the lead up and how you guys ended up knocking off the champs?
Well, I think it was a crucial point to us where in the semifinals we were down 2-1 in games to Brinas, and we kind of do or die had to win that game. And I think something happened to the team and we ended up winning that fourth game. Then we brought the series home and we won the fifth at home. And then playing Luleå, starting with 2 games away, it's not an easy task to beat Luleå in their home ice. And we knew they had won 6 years before and they're a powerhouse, right? So our thoughts were kind of, can we steal 1 game up there and then we can take it home and kind of get away with at least stealing 1 game. And then we ended up winning both games up there, and they were kind of running the show for the 2 first periods, both games, but we found a way to win and brought the 2-0 in games home. And then obviously that was a new situation for a lot of our players. A lot of them haven't played a final before, and then we brought it home and we were playing at the big rink in the town, and we knew there was going to be a lot of people, and we ended up setting the record for attendance as well. So it was just, if someone would have written that story prior to the championship, I don't think anyone would have written it that way. And the fact that we could beat them 3 games to sweep them in the final, that was, I don't think I would have even dared to dream that way, but it was pretty nice.
So what was it about your team then that made them the special group to be able to get that done? Because you've played hockey for a long time. You were part of the Swedish national program since 94. You retired in, I think your last Worlds was 2012, if I'm not wrong.
Yep.
You were a nightmare to play against in college and on the international stage, I can confirm. So you know what it's like to be a part of a winning program or a winning team. So what did you see in your group that, had you believing in them that they were winners and this will get done, we can get this done?
Well, I think the mix of veterans that have been in other clubs before winning and also in the international stage, Olympics and Women's Worlds, and then mixed with, we really want to develop juniors or young players from our area that has the local connection. And then for this season, we brought in a few new players, and I think we chose them very carefully to get the right characters onto the team. And the group of players were just amazing how they support each other, work for each other, and also demand stuff from each other. And I think that's very, very important. And I also think it's a team thing, the players obviously, but also the staff. Also Tessa, as a player, you realize pretty quickly if the staff isn't really enjoying working together or something is going on with the staff. So that's been really important to me, to build a really strong staff where we have experts in each role, but also people that I like to work with.
Well, you did an amazing job, obviously. You
I'd
able to take
say.
it over the finish line. I guess just before we let you go, you mentioned the attendance record at the Scandinavium for that championship game. So incredible to see over 8,000 people in that barn. We're a PWHL podcast, primarily, obviously. So Do you think that there's been impact internationally with the Professional Women's League existing? And do you think it had an impact maybe on so many people in that building for your Sunday championship game?
I wish I could say yes, but I
Yeah,
don't really think that people here know a whole lot about the PWHL. I
right.
know for you guys now, you're just used to selling out the NHL arenas in 20,000, 17,000, that kind of stuff. But I really think that for us to be able to have that attendance on Sunday, it was just the interest for hockey and for the men's team in the history in this town has been so great. And now I think we put us in such a great situation with winning 2 games up in Luleå, and we could bring it home on Sunday. If we would have been down 2-0, not really sure, but what I'm really hoping is that a lot of those people want to come back and have kind of found women's hockey also in their interest. So hopefully the PWHL is also getting spread a lot more. Even though it's really great that I'm able to watch it over here, but I think more people need to know about it than what it is right now.
Yeah, I guess in fairness, it'd be a lot of overnight watching of games over
Yeah.
there. The timing doesn't line up perfectly, but so
True.
great to see you guys get that win. So great to see so many people packed in that barn. Congratulations, and thanks for taking the time to come on today.
Well, thank you so much.
Love that story. Love how it speaks to the PWHL's impact internationally. Most people ever showed up to an SDHL game. It's pretty incredible.
That's wicked. Not surprised at all. It's like, are we surprised that these teams in the PWHL are packing ranks? No, we always knew there was an appetite.
Yeah.
Just had to come to be.
Yeah, and it's just going to continue to grow. That's great to watch. The other bit of news that dropped last week, pretty much right after we dropped our podcast on Friday morning,
Basically.
and kind of speculated about the Team Canada roster, we got an official Team Canada roster. 6 first-time players have made Team Canada. Very congratulatory moment here for Eve Gascon, Daryl Watts, Hannah Miller, Chloe Primerano, Jen Gardner, and Sophie Jakes, all suiting up for the senior national team at a Women's World Championship for the first time.
Yeah, listen. And after talking to Poundy and listening to her talk on the broadcast the other night, I was like, this Gascon kid. And she was like, Tess, she could push to be the #1 Tendy. I was like, I know, she was playing in Duluth, making lives hell. And so, I mean, I guess it depends. Is Ncaa Desbiens going to be, ready to go from the beginning of the tournament? Not sure. But there is a goaltender there that Cheryl Pounder believes is, set enough to stand between the pipes and own them. So
Wow.
I look at, that's the future of Canadian goaltending right there. You're looking at her. So I say, why not? In a preliminary round, toss her in, get her feet wet.
Yeah, I love the idea of that. Ev obviously played some QMJHL games, made a real name for herself when she was doing that. So really excited to see her between the pipes potentially for Team Canada.
Yeah,
Anybody else?
some notable players that were left off of the roster: Rattray, Bourbonnais, Bell, Gosling, and I say Schroeder, mainly because I thought if Ncaa Desbiens wasn't going, I would assume Schroeder would have been injected into that lineup. However, those are the players that were left off of the list from rivalry, and I would love to see how Primerano plays in this setting, because at under 18s, I felt like she had to throw the team on her back and just, I don't want to say play with reckless abandon, because that's not fair to say, because she was very in control, but it was less about a team game and more about, hey man, can you just go end to end and score 3 real quick so we can win this game kind of thing, because she could.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see, for a full tournament with the full pressure and all the lights and all the glam in a foreign country trying to defend gold, how she performs. I think she's going to be fantastic, because I think she's got a good hockey IQ. And I think that she's probably thirsty to play with, a deep partner that can not only complement her game, but really take away the thinking part of it for her.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see this. And guys, monumental that Chloe Primerano has made this senior national team roster. She's the youngest player since Marie-Philippe Poulin to make the roster. First teenage defenseman, right, since Cheryl Pounder made the roster, right?
Poundy back in 94.
Yeah, really monumental to have a player of her caliber and like a player of her age make this team. So it's going to be really, really cool to watch her. Excited to see Team Canada at the Worlds. Do we know for sure? So Hannah Miller has made the team, obviously. Do we know for sure that she's been cleared eligibility wise yet? I'm putting you on the spot.
I would assume they threw her on there, that it like they wouldn't have been able to put her name on the official roster had that not been cleared.
Okay, yeah. So we'll go with she's cleared, and we're looking forward to seeing her play. So congratulations to everyone who made that roster. Again, World Championships happening in Czechia next month. More international sporting news, Tessa, and this is one that you're really excited about. And as someone, like, you're more of an Olympics junkie than me, and obviously you're literally an Olympian. So that's a thing as well. The IOC has named its first ever female president. Like, how crazy does it seem to you that this is a thing? Like, when you were playing at the Olympics, it probably seemed like this wasn't even a possibility.
Never. I would thought this was never going to happen. I thought there was a million other firsts that were going to happen for women before this. And this was probably the most delightful surprise. And like, it was emotional. I caught myself getting emotional. I was like, wow, like, why? And then I just had to take a step back and like, really breathe it in and take it in and realize just how special it is that Kirsty Coventry was elected as the first ever female IOC president. Like, insanely huge, the biggest moment. And I guess I'll just reiterate that I never thought I would see this day. And it was cool because I felt like my phone was blowing up a little bit from, not only former hockey players that were my friends that competed in the Olympics, but also from other athletes and other people that are involved. And isn't this cool? Isn't this amazing? Can you believe it? Was mostly the sentiment, but we better believe it. We're living in it. This is the coolest thing. I actually had a good friend named Ncaa Bitove, and she started XOXO Sports, which is marketing coaching for athletes. She's a great friend of mine. Her father was a huge supporter of Team Canada back when I played. Tommy, my boy, I love you. And I saw her post, and she's even more of an Olympic junkie than I am, Julia. And I saw she had made this post, getting emotional watching it happen. And she truly herself has had the dream to become the IOC president. And I think that this was emotional for her because now it's not just something that she's saying to try and push the barrier. Now it's something that can actually happen. And so I immediately reached out to her. I was like, Kat, you got to come join us. And she did.
Here she is, Ncaa Bitove, president of XOXO Sports. Okay, hopping on with us now is the president of XOXO Sports, Ncaa Bitove. Thanks so much for joining us, Kat.
Thank you for having me.
So
good seeing you again, bud.
Good to see you too. We go
how
way
do you guys
back.
know one another?
Tommy boy, her dad.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
He was a big supporter of Team Canada from like the get-go, basically. And him and a bunch of buddies, Pat McElhaney, Paul Graham, our former boss, put on this like wicked golf tournament at Redtail. If anybody knows what Redtail Golf Course is, you know what it's all about. And it was just this high-end, like really fun, like incredibly fun golf tournament. One of my favorite. I'll share one of your dad's stories, Kat. We used to, you ready for this? We used to get like glow in the dark balls and tee off at night with like a light. And then we'd turn the light off and you'd have to hit it, and closest to the pin, they would all throw money in, and closest to the pin would win the cash. And whenever it was done, your dad used to rip his shirt off and sprint as fast as he could to find the winner. And it was like the highlight, like his shoes would be off and it was just him running as fast as he could, always to go get the ball. So anyways, I love your dad. I love your family, and I love you, obviously. So thanks for joining us. But we want to talk about some of the biggest, best news that hit, I guess, sports news, at least for myself. And I saw your post, Kat, and like when I had read the news initially, I was emotional. Then I saw your post and I got emotional, and I was like, right, this means a lot, and it means something for Kirsty Coventry to be elected as the first ever female IOC president. So like, you're more of an Olympic junkie than I am, which is saying a lot. So just explain to us like how big of a moment this is.
I feel like women needed a win. Like, we've had a lot of wins in recent years, particularly in the world of sports, but this felt like a win we really needed. And I think part of the emotion you saw from that video of me was I was so ready to be disappointed again. How many times have we been disappointed? Has it been another older dude that just gets an opportunity that a really qualified woman gets. So in that moment, I think it was partly shock that like, oh my gosh, this qualified woman is getting her flowers, is getting her chance to really make change. But also just knowing what she stands for and what she brings to the table is incredible. And Kirsty herself, like, I don't know if you guys know a lot about her background. She is Olympic champion in swimming. She's from Zimbabwe. So not only as a woman is this massive, like the historic nature of it, she's the first ever woman IOC president in the history of the IOC. She is the first IOC president that's not from Europe or North America. She's the first from Africa, which is the second most populous continent. So it's wild that they've never had this kind of representation on the world stage or on the Olympic stage. So it really brings a diverse perspective to the future of the IOC movement or the Olympic movement. And she's an athlete. She is a champion. What's really cool about her, though, is her first games were Sydney 2000. Her last games were Rio 2016. So she was an athlete competing through such massive change to the athlete landscape, to the athlete experience. She came in with no social media and went out with athletes getting all sorts of SpawnCon endorsements, Rule 40 changes. So it's really amazing to see, or it will be amazing to see what that means to the Olympic movement. And I just really feel like the Olympic movement's in good hands with her because of all this experience that she brings in.
Is there any particular direction you could picture? Like what particular changes do you think might happen under her leadership that you're excited about?
There has been a shift in recent years, like thinking about the athlete experience in the Olympic Village. Allyson Felix has been a big champion of making it more accessible and helpful to mothers, nursing mothers, like having a nursery sponsored by P&G in the village. Kirsty Coventry just gave birth, like, I think last year to her second daughter. She's like 41. She's a second time, like, recent mom. So she's going to have that experience and understanding as a mom and a relatively young mom, in my opinion, at the forefront, or at least like as part of her, like the importance that she puts on like that experience for athletes. And having those safeguards in place for nursing mothers, for women athletes. I also just think that as groundbreaking as she is, she also represents like a bit of consistency from Thomas Bach. Like he really mentored her, and people have their different opinions of him, like as an IOC president. But I think consistency at the Olympic level is important. You don't want too much change too fast. You don't want to make too many mistakes. So I think that she, like, working with him and being mentored by him will show that there's opportunities to further his, like, further what he did in terms of shortening the bidding process for Olympic Games, making it more cost effective, more helpful to countries, or flexibility in terms of having multiple countries or cities bid for a games, which is really more sustainable to the Olympic movement. So I think that's something too that I'm looking forward to is her furthering the changes that Thomas Bach made, and then bringing that perspective as a mom and as an athlete.
When can we expect to see, we want Kirsty to stay there as long as she can, but when can we see the rise of Kat Bitove in the IOC movement?
Hopefully sooner rather than later. Like, Kirsty being 41 has really put a time crunch on me, thinking that I thought, I had another 20 years to figure it out before I would be electable, but she is a high achiever. I did just announce today that I've joined the Hockey Canada Foundation board, which is, thank you. Like, as you said, a cause close to my dad's heart, a cause close to my heart. And hopefully that's a stepping stone towards the IOC one day.
You care about the athletes, I know. I want to give what you do a little bit of a shout out. Can you explain to everybody quickly what XOXO Sports is all about?
Yeah, I started my business working with Olympians and Paralympians because I saw the need for building their personal brands, securing sponsorships on their own terms. So I brought a lot of experience from the pro and Olympic side of the industry, working with sponsors, but also know that athletes need flexibility. They don't necessarily have the money or time to hire someone on retainer to manage their brand or their sponsorships. So I kind of built this business to be independent and flexible based on what athletes need, no matter where they are in the world or in their Olympic or Paralympic quad, but also independent of a sports agency or sports organization. So the athlete really feels like they have I have their best interests at heart, and they're really empowered to build out their personal brand story and narrative and learn how to reach out to brands, pitch themselves to sponsors, fulfill those sponsorships, all within the Olympic and Paralympic rules.
Well, it's an exciting time, and congratulations on everything that you're accomplishing and in the midst of building. We're already excited for 2026 Olympics, and this news has us even more so. So thanks for hopping on to talk about it today, Kat.
Thank you so much for having me, and keep doing an amazing job. I love the pod.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, Tessa, it's time to address the elephant in the room. Let's talk about the NCAA over the past weekend. First, we'll start with Patty Kazmaier. Congratulations to Casey O'Brien. Yes. Earns
Massive.
herself the top player in the NCAA this season. She broke a single season record franchise-wise in the semifinals. I love the moment she had with Layla Edwards after the game when Layla didn't realize she had broken the single season scoring record. Had a funny little press conference swear moment, which is always entertaining. The Wisconsin girls just look like they're having, obviously, even before they won, like just look like they're having a lot of fun. They look like they love one another a lot. I love the vibes they've got going there. So Casey O'Brien, congratulations. What a year for her. Sirens fans, might be time to start eyeing up the players to get excited about for next year. I took a look this morning. The Sirens have an 88.12 chance percent. Let me just say that in English. 88.12% chance of picking first overall at the 2025 PWHL draft, according to the gold plan right now. So
I gotta make fun of you for a minute.
Please.
I believe isn't it 88.12% chance?
I don't know.
Or is it 12?
I don't know. Like, I deserve to, I don't know. I don't know anything about math. I don't know. Like, now I want to make fun of both of us because, like, I don't know if it's 12 or 12.
I'm pretty sure it's 88.12, but I love that you put the 0.12 in there because it's really just, they've got an 88% chance of picking first.
An 88% chance.
And like Casey O'Brien, you said it, she earned herself the award. Absolutely. This kid's been a boss all season long. You want to talk about, I mean, anyone could talk about, okay, yeah, Wisconsin roster is so, bolstered and whatever. Of course, she got that many points. No, the WCHA is an incredibly hard division to play in, like wildly hard conference. So like, she did work and she earned every second. And like, listen, we knew it was going to be a Badger because there was only 3 of them remaining to be chosen from. However, I think they chose the correct one. She has been fantastic all season long. So Sirens, if you guys are all about, joining the gold plan and earning yourself the right to pick first, you just, she hasn't even declared. I don't think anybody's really declared yet for the draft, but you're going to be looking at a lot of pretty fantastic. Look, there's going to be no loss. I feel like everybody in the first round is going to get a win. Like every team.
It's going to be a strong
top 6
draft.
players is going to be insane. But to be able to have your pick of the litter, sign me up.
100%. And again, we don't know who's declared exactly for this 25 for the upcoming draft yet, but I'd imagine we'll start to hear announcements pretty soon as to who officially is declaring for the draft. And Casey O'Brien has played 5 years. So I'm making the little inference in my head that she might be available next season.
I just gave Badgers love, so take that for what it's worth.
That'll stop right now. The Wisconsin Badgers win the NCAA title in overtime. It's Kirsten Simms that gets the OT winner. This game was insane. This game was one of the most insane games I've ever seen. If you did not watch this game, I'm sorry. It was incredible. All of the stars came to play from both Wisconsin and Ohio State. from Joy Dunt, Layla Edwards. Like they just kept topping one another. I know it was the end that you wanted, Tessa, but man, it was the final that the people deserved. And that game definitely deserved overtime as well.
So it kind of followed the trend, right? Because I can even go with the year before that. So 2019, Wisco wins. 2020 was canceled. But that year, Ohio State would have won that. No one had any business being on the same ice as Ohio State that year. However, there was no winner, so it doesn't count. 2021, Wisco wins. 2022, OSU. 23, Wisco. 24, OSU. So they're just flip-flopping back and forth, passing that trophy back and forth to each other. So I was like, this is the year they're going to go back to back. And they had it. It was 3-2 in the third period. Now look, I'm going to preface everything I'm saying with congratulations to Wisconsin. You 100% earned that win. That was probably one of the best games I've watched in a very long time. So thank you for that. However, my bone to pick, and I'm not saying, oh, Ohio should have won. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is it was 3-2. There's a minute 50 left in the game, okay? Ohio State falls asleep. We put too many players on the ice. What are we doing? Okay? Ladies, if there's any time you need to be the most focused and dialed in a game, it is the last 5 minutes when you're up 3-2, okay? You're playing against Wisconsin, a powerhouse, a team that Ohio State was the only team that beat Wisco in regulation that year, this past year.
Yeah.
So we get too many players on the ice. Whatever, we're doing a great job killing this penalty off, right? Teely, the goaltender.
Oh my God.
She played out of her face. I should pull up the text. I texted Emma Malte, I'm legit buying Teely a bottle of booze and a steak dinner. She made these unbelievable. She came across one time and stoned Layla. Was it Layla? I can't remember who it was. I was a cross ice pass and she came across and her leg grew, I want to say 3 feet to make that save. It was insane. Anyway, she was doing fantastic. Then there's a point where there's a scrum in front, Julia, and this is where my problem comes in, okay? You got a goalie down, players everywhere. It's a power play. I understand. It's a 1-goal game. But when a goalie has a puck and you lose sight of it, there's no way they didn't lose sight of it because I saw in the replay, I'm like, she had it. Teely had the puck. Okay. And then a Wisco player comes in, basically mashes the goalie. Teely gets kicked in the head, first of all. And then the puck comes out. And that's when the Ohio State player dove back, unfortunately put her hand on the puck to push it out of the net because this would have gone in. So technically she did save the goal for a moment in time.
Yeah.
To only push the puck out. Cool. I get it. Whatever. The call has to be made. It is what it is. This is where I had a problem because it should have never gone there. It really just felt like we're going to give Wisco a chance to make this a game. That's what that felt like to me. Because being a Buckeye, people love to hate us, okay? And from the time I played way back when, Wisconsin has always been the golden child. We're the forgotten about third kid, the annoying black sheep that just keeps winning and is good. Muzzy is vocal. I love the way she coaches. I just feel like that moment right there didn't really feel good to me because there was 2 times where I was like, blow it. Like, what are you doing? Anyways, this is where the story gets good though. When we work in sports, Julia, this is the stuff we love. Like,
oh my gosh,
this is why
yeah.
all sports reporters, everybody, we're jaded. We always say, people are like, oh, who's your favorite team? I was like, I have no favorite teams except for the Sudbury Wolves and the Ohio State Buckeyes.
I know,
That's who
dude.
I cheer for.
I actually wanted to say this to you today. Like, you last night were actually a fan, and like, it takes a lot for me to. It's pretty rare that I get into fan mode these days because usually, like, I'm just like cheering for the best outcome, like the best storyline.
That's what you want, and that's what we got. That was a story. You know what I mean? Because you want a good headline, especially in women's hockey. And Ohio State and Wisconsin gave that to us. The fact that this was also a weird call, and I don't even know how this is a rule, but like the hand on the puck in the crease thing, you get to choose a penalty shot or a penalty. Shut up. It's a minor penalty.
I was
Get in
blown
the
away
box.
by that.
I fell out of my chair. I swore in front of my children.
I didn't think
really
it was
bad.
a minor penalty. I thought it was an auto penalty shot. That's how I've always understood the hand on the puck in the crease rule.
Okay, cool.
I didn't think you got to choose.
I didn't think they got to choose either. That's insane to me. And because who's choosing the power play? I mean, what?
No.
You know what I mean?
Well, I guess in a situation where
if you're winning, right, and there's 2 minutes left, sure, throw them in the box. We'll play 5-on-4 for the rest of the game. If you're winning, that's when you'll do that. But like, why is it a choice? Just make a rule.
Yeah.
Anyways, So the coolest part after that is head coach Mark Johnson, a legend. I actually love this guy. He recruited me. He's a good dude. I love that he's still coaching there. Responsible for
the coaching matchup in this game was one of the biggest, most interesting parts of the whole thing. Like
this
two of the
fantastic.
greatest coaches in NCAA hockey. I love that Muzzerall had her shoes off on the bench at one point.
Yeah,
Blake
I don't blame her. Muzzy's
I
the
looked
best.
over and Muzzy wasn't wearing shoes at one point. Like she was in it. Like that's an epic coaching matchup.
So then Mark Johnson just says, like, who wants this penalty shot? Like, what an epic moment. And like, what a feel from the coach. Because he's like, I'm not going to look down the bench and tap someone on the back that's thinking, please don't pick me. He's looking around and he's like, I need the player. Who wants to be the player? And I thought it was pretty cool, you know, the way it all went down with Simms, how she said, and I love this because it was so honest and like humble yet confident. Do you know what I mean? Where she was like, I was really nervous. I wasn't sure if I wanted to go. And all the players were like, you should do it. You should do it. Like, it's you. And she was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to do it. And like, she just needed that little nudge. But she was saying, I was nervous. And then she went out there and she even said, you know, I was nervous going out there, but I just knew I had to go and do my thing. And she went out there and she read the moment and the move and everything perfectly. And it was glorious. And it was the most beautiful goal. And if my team is going to be sent to overtime on any type of goal, it better be a bomb-ass goal like that. You know, I don't want some chintzy 5-hole shot. Like, that was wicked.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? Cool. You earned it. You had your chance. And that was like a no-doubter, glorious move. And then overtime, obviously, we know what happened.
And what goddamn cinema, too.
Offside,
like, you have
dude.
to shout out the broadcast for that moment because that whole moment, where you could see Mark Johnson say, who wants it? You see Layla Edwards, the side of her face. She's saying, Simms, you got to take it. Like, you could see the girls saying, you got to take it. And then you see her hand pop up. Like, it is one of the most amazing,
coolest
pieces of bench footage I've ever seen. Anyways, keep going. Overtime.
Overtime was overtime. Initially, I thought it was offside. I yelled at the TV. Ed was doing basketball with the kids.
Yeah. You
like,
were
sorry.
on Twitter. Old man
like,
yells at cloud on Twitter. I saw Anne Renee
100%.
tweeting back. I love it. I love it.
Absolutely, I did. But don't tell me you didn't think that too when you saw the play.
Well, and then, so like I said, I was building IKEA furniture as I was watching the game. So I didn't see the goal go in the first time. I kind of had my head down and I looked up and obviously Wisconsin had won. But then they didn't play the goal again.
There
like they
no
didn't replay it
for
like 3 minutes. Yeah, you said they
Julia,
won't
this play
roll
is
it back
offside.
from the blue line. But,
and they
but
will
then
not
they
play
did.
it back.
I bet that they
I
were
know.
looking at it and that's why they didn't play it right off the bat. But yeah, wow, what a moment for the Wisconsin.
Thank you to whoever
Badgers.
tweeted back to me the reverse angle. Because you couldn't really see.
Yeah.
To be fair, I don't even remember who, whatever Wisconsin player was going up the right side. And you couldn't see the puck because all the players were standing on the bench, right? So you could barely see them and the puck. But it very much to the naked eye looked like had the puck been on her stick, it would have been offside, but it wasn't. With reverse angle, someone sent me the reverse angle and you could see that the puck was actually ahead of her and she was chasing it down. So I was like, So to be fair, old man yelling at the cloud, I did correct myself. And prior to all that, I still congratulated Wisconsin because winning a natty championship has got to be something really friggin' cool and really special.
Yeah, unreal. I'm very much looking forward to seeing what the bet was between Natalie Spooner. Sorry, not between Natalie Spooner. Between Emma Malte and Daryl Watts. Apparently it's epic. I'm looking forward to seeing what it was. Speaking of epic, you and I, we chased her around on Instagram a little bit last night. Kirsten Simms probably had a lot better things to do last night than answering our DMs. But she was kind enough to get back to us and even kinder to sit down with us for a couple minutes to talk about that game-winning goal last night and what an absolute dog she is. So here's Kirsten Simms. Well, guys, here she is, the woman of the hour in hockey. She gets the OT winner and the penalty shot goal to send it to overtime in the national championship. It's Kirsten Simms. First of all, how do you have time? How are you well enough to come on Jocks and Jills right now and talk to us? That's what I want to know right off the bat.
Hey, are you okay?
Yes, I'm a little sleep deprived, I'm not going to lie. I mean, my voice might be a little shot too from all the yelling yesterday, but I mean, I'm a big fan of this podcast, so I had to make the appearance if I got the chance.
Awesome.
We were sliding into your DMs. We really appreciate it, dude. You taking the time to come on. Man, I don't even know where I want to start with you. Let's start from right before the penalty shot. Like, let's start with the moment that everybody's buzzing about on social media right now, where you see your coach say, "Who wants it?" You see the girls kind of buzz around you, and then you see your little glove pop up. Like, tell me about that moment.
I mean, I think it was more so like when we kind of called for like the review, all the girls were like, Sims, like, come on, like it's gonna be you, like it's gonna be you, like coach is gonna pick you. And I was like, whatever, like I gotta prepare for it either way, whether it is or isn't. And then right as coach said, who wants it, everybody saying Sims, Sims, Sims. And I was like, he's gonna need a little confidence. So I was like, pop my hand up. And then he was like, okay, I guess here we go. And then I mean, everybody just like instilled confidence in me like through the entire bench, which is what was needed, but definitely a scary moment.
Yeah. Dude,
Yeah,
you're such a
I'd say.
superstar. Like, but what's it like to be that person in that moment when you know there's other superstars on the team? Like, you got Layla Edwards and Carolyn Harvey. Like,
Because Julia, like she said, there was a review. So it's not like it's something happened, you didn't have time to process. It's like you're standing there, you all know, because when the play happened, someone actually in the crease, I'm not sure who it was, they raised their arms like, hey, something happened here kind of thing.
It was Layla.
It was Layla, right? She had a bird's eye view basically standing over.
she's so much taller than everyone else. She's like, I have the bird's eye.
Yeah, I saw that. So you were standing there like really mulling this over the entire time. So not only like I have to imagine there were nerves there, right? Like you're human. And I feel like that's a human reaction to have where, okay, this is a really big moment. There's a minute 50 left. This game's going to be put on my shoulders. Like either we make a move now or we're going to have to do it with a minute 50 left still on the power play. So like, what were your emotions, one, leading up to gaining the courage to raise your hand? And then two, like Julia said, actually skating out there, going to take the shot.
Yeah, I mean, well, first, actually, got to give credit to Layla. She's the one that came back to the bench and started yelling at our coaches. She was like, we got to challenge it. We got to challenge it. Coaches had no idea. Coaches had no idea.
Because they wouldn't have video.
No,
or
nobody.
anything like that.
If Layla didn't see it over the bird, that would have never happened. Because she came back to the bench and she was like, yeah, swear.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that crazy?
Layla
Yeah, she got the whole
Edwards.
thing reviewed.
Yeah.
Wow.
Buckeye Nation, blame Layla Edwards.
So I have to give her credit on that one.
That's
We
huge.
make fun of her too because she's always like a little referee on the bench. She'll call off sides or icing when they're missing it. So
Yeah.
it was the perfect time for her stripes to come out. But
That's hilarious.
But yeah, I mean, anyway, yeah, obviously the nerves are running through. I can't say I was not scared at all. I mean, that is a lot of pressure, but it did help that the entire bench was like having my back and they made me feel like it was like either way, like it's not your fault is like kind of how it felt where it's like I don't have to feel like take the heat of it almost if it doesn't go in, but they were also just like trust your gut. I mean, I got a bunch of little pep talks from a few of the girls, and then all of them were obviously cheering me on as I was skating down. And then the last person I passed was the goalie, and she was like, you do this stuff on me all the time. Like, come on. And so, I mean, definitely was nervous, but I just had to kind of shut everything off in my mind because I was like, it's make or break it at this point. We have 18 seconds left. Like, who knows what's going to happen? I mean, we could obviously get the job done, and obviously anybody on our roster could have gone in that penalty shot. But I mean, I'm obviously super honored that they had the confidence and trust in me to be able to do so. But yeah, I mean, I just had to trust my gut and what I was doing. And I mean, it worked out. So
I don't know how many people on your roster are pulling a move like that. Like that thing was definitely in. No doubter. Like, you said your goalies say you pull this stuff on me all the time. Is that a practiced move? Like that's a go-to, one of your like top 3 moves that you pull out? Or was that just straight read and react heading up the ice?
I mean, that was kind of a moment where I was like, I got to stick with what I'm feeling because I was like, if I hesitate, I feel like I'm going to screw it up. And to be honest, I don't score my goalies too often anymore in practice because they've seen me for the last 3 years. So they kind of know everything. And Naughty's a brick wall. And McNaughton, our starter's a brick wall. So, I mean, pretty tough to score in practice. But yeah, that one was just like, I kind of had an idea of what I wanted to do because I've gone against Teely a good amount of times. And I kind of knew what I did against her last time I was in that situation. So I was like, just stuck with what I knew. But honestly, when I saw the net that open, before I even put the puck in the net, my jaw dropped. I was literally like, and then I was able to put the puck in the net, but I was like literally in like utter shock that it was like happening.
It was slower for you than it looked for us. It looked like slow motion when you put it in. That's unreal. And then like you have this huge moment, you score the goal, you tie the game. huge emotional moment, and then you got to go to the dressing room and get ready for overtime. What's the conversation like? Your team seems so fun, by the way. Like, I watch all your TikToks. You guys seem like you're having so much fun all the time. You seem like you have a great vibe off one another. What was it like in the room with those girls before you went out for overtime and you knew that it was going to end there?
Yeah, I just think when we walked in that locker room, I mean, obviously emotions were like very up and down throughout the game because it was very back and forth. And Ohio gave us a really, really good game. I mean, from the start, like, it was a battle. I mean, they gave it to us, obviously. And then from that moment on, I think our energy just flipped. Like, it was like an immediate shift. And once we got in the locker room, it was like, okay, like, this is our team again. The fun was back in the locker room. The chatter was back. Everybody was super fired up and was like, oh my gosh, like, we can do this, like, kind of thing. Like, just that like extra like sense of hope. And so I think when everybody kind of saw that in the locker room throughout the whole from every person, we were like, all right, anyone's going to get the job done now. Like, we just got to go out there and play Badger hockey and we can do it. So.
Yeah, but like, correct me if I'm wrong. You're like a big game goal scorer. Is it okay to label you that? Because if I remember correctly, back in Utica in the preliminary round, you scored the OT winner against Canada. Then you go ahead and you just casually score the shootout winner. And then you're scoring the OT winner, which, by the way, if you watch the replay, I don't know how you contorted your body to get any type of stick on that puck, but that was like insane. I, for one, first of all, thought it was offside right off the bat. I was fired up.
Tessa was like being an old man on Twitter. Like,
I was an angry old man. I was an angry old man. But then someone sent me the reverse angle and I understood and I accepted it. I swallowed my pill. But like, did that play happen slow for you too? Or how did that one play out for you?
Honestly, I didn't even know what happened until I saw it about an hour after the game. Like, if I'm going to be completely honest with you.
Blacked out for a minute.
Yep. I mean, like, I saw the puck coming, I guess, but there were so many bodies that I just like, I got a stick on it and then I hit it and it went in the net. And I was like, oh, next thing you know, everybody's jumping on me. And I was like, what? Like, I honestly had no idea. And then I saw it for the game. And then after the game, I was like, no wonder I'm getting asked why it was such a weird angle. Like, I had no clue. Like, I had no clue. Yeah. So, I mean, I can't say it was really in slow motion. Can't really remember it that much. So, I mean,
it went in.
I guess. Yeah, it went in. That's what matters.
Unreal.
I have so much respect for your coach, Mark Johnson. I've told this story in this podcast before. He's recruited me, brought me to his house for dinner, fed me dessert in his dog bowl. True story, by accident. Run that by him.
Oh my gosh.
But just talk about him as a coach and like, did he have anything special to say to you personally afterwards after, owning such two massive moments?
I mean, obviously, first of all, it's just such an unbelievable coach to get to play under. I mean, when you get to say that you get to play for Mark Johnson, I mean, it's pretty surreal. Like, you like when you get to sit back and actually realize who you're playing for is like honestly incredible. And obviously he shows time and time again how insane of a coach he is and like what he breaks every single year and what he's able to bring and the rosters he builds and the teams he create is like obviously super special. And I think one of the biggest things he does is he instills confidence within every single player on the team. Like, he doesn't let one person second guess themselves from day one, whether you're a freshman or fifth year, senior, whatever you are. Like, he does not, and he trusts every single person on that bench, and he will show you that he trusts you like throughout the entire season. And so I think that's something that's really special about him, that he gives everybody that opportunity to prove how good they really are. And then, yeah, I mean, after the game, I guess he just came up to me and was a little bit in shock too. And I just kind of, all the coaches just saying like, I'm so proud of you. Like, I'm so happy, like blah, 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 like whatever, just kind of the usual spiel. But it was definitely neat to get a little like one-on-one moment with him that you don't really get that often.
Yeah, that's so cool. What else has stood out from the celebration? Like, what have been the highlights of the win so far in celebrating and winning?
PG, you can keep it PG. We're not trying to get you in trouble.
Or you can expose your friends, like whatever you want. We accept your Jocks and Jocks.
I just think it's the energy of our team. I mean, we were like obviously so nervous throughout that entire game because we knew like it was like Ohio gave us a game. Like, that was like a battle from the get-go. And when it ended up coming out our direction, I think that was kind of us just being like, wow, we were able to fight through all of that and still end up on top. And then just to see the energy of our group after that, like you said, we do have a very fun group. So, I mean, the locker room was buzzing for definitely a while and then continued on to the bus. And I just think it's been such like we're like at such a high right now and it hasn't really come down. So I think that's just been the best part of it, just to be together with the girls and just being able to have this moment with everyone.
It shouldn't come down for a while.
Yeah. Continue to enjoy it, man. So deserved. Congratulations. Like, you are an absolute dog in big moments, and you proved that on the biggest stage. So continue to enjoy it, and we can't wait to see you at Worlds.
Yeah, thank you.
She's something else, man. Got the game-winning goal in 2021 too. Like, that was a 1-0 win for the Wisconsin Badgers over Ohio as well. Or sorry, 2023, not 2021. That was Daryl Watts.
Okay.
Shout out to her as well. But lots of game winners.
That and last year in Utica, preliminary round game, it was 6-5, I believe, in overtime. She scored on Ncaa Desbiens to get that one in the preliminary round. So
Great
I feel
point.
like this kid just scores big goals. She's got she's kind of like a new age Pwhl, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, you guys need a big goal now? All right, fire me up.
Yeah. And then I'm looking at her because I was thinking about who's draft eligible, and then I pull up her player profile, and we're not going to see her in the PWHL for a couple of years. She's still going to rip up the NCAA for a bit of time here. Yeah, so many stars on that Wisconsin team. It's almost like she gets lost in the mix with all that star power. But gosh, what a goal, what a performance, what a dog. Kirsten Simms. Like, she knows what's up. More championship news, Tessa. Let's keep going. USPORT championship went down on Sunday as well. I want to shout out the Waterloo Warriors, who lost in the championship, but they knocked off Concordia, the 8th seed, in the semifinals. So shout out to Waterloo. I love to see the 8th seed making a run at things. They won on the men's side for the Ottawa Gee-Gees as well.
Underdog.
Yeah, it was Waterloo versus Bishops. Ed's, your husband's old alma
we
mater.
were both like, this could get to be a wild night for the two of us. Couple alumni just going crazy watching their teams. And it's cool because Ed feels like an honorary Buckeye as well because he's been to the alumni weekends. And obviously I went to his school as well. So there's some love there. Bishops, what I love about this school is that program is still such an infancy, and there's already a powerhouse. It's really cool. So Ed's on cloud 9. He did bath time while I watched overtime with the Buckeyes and the Badgers. And then I finished off bedtime while he came down, and I literally came down the stairs to him like fist pumping on the couch. And I was like, okay, you're the winner for tonight. It's fine, sir. But love that, Bishops, a young team, all the way out in the Eastern Townships, donning the purple jerseys. I don't know why. I always think purple jerseys are so funny, but regardless, the purple jerseys, taking it to everybody, winning themselves their first U Sports national championship, which is incredibly cool. Like, it kind of brought me back to like, when I played for the Toronto Furies, like just watching them celebrate, I got that feeling watching them. And I know nothing about their team, I just say nothing about the team. I don't know much about the insides, the inner workings of their locker room, how their, ebbs and flows go. I don't know their coach very well. So, but I just got this innate feeling that it was like, that winning that kind of feels like my win when I won with the Toronto Furies back in 2014. That's what it looked like. So I hope they're enjoying it as much as we enjoyed our championship. But nonetheless, big shout out to Bishops University, Ed's alma mater, for bringing home the Natty Champ, because my Buckeyes fell a little short.
Yeah, and like you said, Tess, we didn't know a ton about this team. We wanted to know more. So here's Gaby Santerre from the Bishop Skaters, U Sports champion. Okay, let's bring her in. She's a U Sports champion, MVP of the tournament, had 3 points in the championship game. It's Gaby Santerre. How are you? You're on the bus right now. I'd imagine you and the girls are buzzing. What are the vibes like? You can bring them to us directly.
The vibes are amazing. We just watched the game and we're still feeling the emotion. So yeah, we're still on a little high, but yeah, I think everyone's feeling great here.
I mostly wonder, is the hangover okay? You doing all right?
Yeah, a little bit of headache, but it's worth it. So that's fine.
So you had to beat Concordia in your own league this year. I checked out your Instagram before this, and the caption was, "Finally about time," something along those lines. So can you tell us a little bit about the run your team was on this year and finally getting to the pinnacle of your goals?
Yeah, it was like a tough season, if I can say. Our record was 10 and 11. We faced Concordia 7 times in the season, and we lost the 7th time. And our 2 last games in the regular season, we lost 7-1 and 9-1. So it was a tough one for us, but we found a way to came back at the best moment. So that was about it. And also because, I lost my 2 final in CJEP. So about time, it's like, good thing takes time, but when it comes, it's so worth it. And I'm just very proud of our group right now.
So then what was the mentality for the team heading into that RSEQ championship against the Stingers? I mean, one, they're coached by 2 former Olympians, and that team has seen incredible success. So was it kind of like, well, we've got nothing to lose, or what was the mentality going in there?
Absolutely. Kind of underdog. Like, we knew, like, everyone was expecting us to lose, which is fair. I mean, we haven't won like one game against them. So I think they had all the pressure and we didn't. Like, we were just playing hockey. We were playing free. Our main goal was to go to the national. So as soon as we won against Ncaa in the semifinal, we knew we were going to Waterloo. So we just wanted to prepare ourselves for the national as the best way we can. And we were like, we're facing the best team in Canada. That's perfect. So we took it more as like an opportunity for us. And we just play freaking good hockey. So that's good for us.
Played freaking good hockey. That's awesome.
I love that.
You just said you watched your championship game back. Now that you've had the opportunity to kind of get a second look at it, like what stands out from the day you guys won the title?
Oh my God, I don't know. A lot of things. I think the puck was bouncing for us. Like, Waterloo played a great game. They had some good scoring chance, but there's something with us since the beginning of the playoff, and like just one shot it goes in traffic, and I think it's just the story unfolding for our team. It was just an incredible run in the playoff, and it was just like the last chapter of it. So it was just amazing to watch it again.
Do you think that win against Concordia helped boost the team's confidence and belief heading into the championship rounds, like the quarters and the semis, all that?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Concordia won the national championship last year. We know that they were like top ranking, I think top 1 or top 2 in the Canada the whole year. So to beat them, we were just so confident that if we can beat them twice in the way that we did it, we can compete against anyone. So we were just so excited and we wanted to take this opportunity. And again, we were still underdog, like our first national, nobody was expecting us to win. So we kept our same mentality and it worked for us.
That's epic. So we'll let you get back to the celebrations, but before we do, tell us, like, what do the rest of the celebrations look like? What's the plan like once you're off this bus?
Honestly, I think some of our friends are waiting for us at our school, so it's gonna be nice tonight. But apart from that, I just know that it's Golden Week, Golden Month, so we'll see what happens next. But I'm just so excited to celebrate with my teammate.
I hope you guys get to frequent the Lion. I visited the Lion myself, but also your school better recognize this is the first CIA U Sport championship since '98. That has been won at your school. Julia, this hockey program joined the RSEQ in 2021. So think about it. It's 2025 and they already have a national championship. You ladies are doing fantastic things. Bravo. Say congrats to the rest of the bus from us. We're proud of you. We'll be watching you next season too. Let's go for the repeat, eh?
Yeah, back to back. Let's go. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.
That's great. Love to see an underdog win. Love to see the program get its first title in its history. It's a new program, Tessa. So there wasn't women's hockey when Ed went there.
I'll give it maybe 5 years. It's been around, not that long.
Wow,
yeah,
that's incredible.
Emmy Fecto's sister goes there, so Emmy Fecto's sister is a national champ as well.
Oh, congratulations. Congratulations all around. One more U Sports congratulations to Grace Elliott, U Sports Player of the Year. Set program records for the UBC Thunderbirds last season. Obviously played with Ryland McKinnon last year. And our last shout out, U Sports shout out of the day, Julie Chooch. Julie Chooch? I'm not speaking English today. Please.
Julie Chooch.
Julie Chooch. Okay,
that's
that
how
has to
nicknames
say.
start.
Jackie. Julie Chu, U Sports Coach of the Year for a second straight season. So congratulations to her. Wow, lots happened this weekend in women's hockey, eh? Like, we haven't even gotten to the games yet. Let's talk about Ottawa, New York, because this game was on one. Like, it was crazy. I thought that this game was crazy, and then it just continued to get crazier. Vanessa gets a hat trick.
Yeah.
A great hat trick. One goal out of the hat trick specifically, I thought that you would like her a lot because it was her and you love her and you love wraparounds, and it was like a sick wraparound goal.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw it, I was like, Tessa is going to be obsessed with this.
It was great. Thank you for posting that, by the way. With the Vanishova, I need to text this girl and just be like, send me a voice note.
We
so I
have
say
to
your
talk
name right.
about it.
It's awful. I feel
it's actually
bad.
a problem.
T, we'll get back to you. There's really only 3 things I want to talk about this game. One was her hat trick, and you already touched on it. The fact that it was like a wraparound of sorts, but it was like she still scored 5 holes. So it's not like she gave the old tuck. You know what I mean?
And she had like a millisecond to put it 5-hole there.
Yeah.
Like
Goal scores, they just score, Julia. That's how they do it. They always score 5-hole.
They're
the ones that can get it there. The other thing I want to talk about was Abby Roque and her Michigan goal. And the last thing was Ottawa winning a must-win game. So we could Vanishova, T, you just keep making me love the way you play. I know why Ottawa loves this kid. It's like, I don't know. Carla even said it.
Casual
she plays with
too.
her heart on the sleeve. Yeah, she plays with her heart on her sleeve.
And she was like, I did
this kid leads. The other thing that's interesting to me is when Brianne Jenner scores in a game, Ottawa wins all of their games. So like if you're looking for some secret sauce, just get your captain the puck.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? Jenner, score. Someone make sure Jenner's going.
Yeah.
Before every game. If you need to slip some Red Bull into her Gatorade, I don't know what it is, but make sure Jenner's going because it's not a lie. 11-4-11 when Jenner scores. That's insane.
Wow. Yeah, that's an incredible stat, dude. There was a similar stat like that with Pwhl at the beginning of the year. I think it was only at 8 games though. That's incredible. Jenner really the heartbeat of that team then, obviously.
Right?
So yeah, ladies, you got to get your captain going. And she has like 3 kids at home. So make sure you're feeding her well and giving her lots of Red Bulls before games so she could score goals. Abby Roque hits the first Michigan in PWHL history. Like, where do we begin with this? She was also the first player from Michigan to ever hit a Michigan like in the NHL or the PWHL. I thought that part of it was kind of cool too.
Totally cool.
I don't know. We love Abby on this podcast. We love the way she plays. We love her confidence. I feel bad for Gwen Phillips because like it always sucks to be the goalie on the other end of the Michigan goal. You always feel like you got. But wow, what an epic moment.
Yeah, I love it. In her post-game press conference, she was just like, every day I would show up to the rink and be like, Michigan today. And like, that it happened. That's a day. But hey, look, she manifested it. She threw it out there. As much as she might say she was joking, it was still out there. She was floating it around.
She had like a mic drop moment. She was sitting there with Bourbonnais, and Bourbonnais was like, oh, she always does it at practice. Like the goalies get mad sometimes. And Roque was like, it worked. And it did. Yeah. And it did. So we saw the goalies in the NHL like adjust really fast to this. Like whenever players are behind the net, like the goalies are basically like licking the corner of the net. Is that going to be a thing in the PWHL now? I think we're going to see a pretty fast adjustment.
I think the second, because Gwyneth saw her go to pick up the puck, which was interesting to me, and she still slid across low. So I think now that it's happened, every goalie in their mind, like that image is burned into their mind. So the second they see someone behind the net go to like pick it up, I think it's just going to be shoulder to corner.
Yeah,
shoulder
it was
to corner.
So smooth. It was so smooth. Abby Roque is like the definition of smooth. We had to get her on briefly to talk about this. So here she is. And she made me promise Enzo would be here. So I'm going to get Enzo, and here's Abby Roque. Okay, guys, here she is, Abby Roque. She scored the first Michigan in PWHL history. I have to start this interview by apologizing to her because when I asked her to come on, she said, only if Enzo's there. And then I stood up and I was like, okay, I'm going to get Enzo. And my boyfriend took Enzo to work. So I've got like no wiener dog to offer you. I just have this fake wiener dog in the corner. I'm sorry, dude. I failed.
It's okay. I just got a wiener dog gift. Jamie just brought me a wiener dog like hair clip, which I was like, when am I going to use this hair clip? And she was like, you can use it on bags of chips. I was like, okay. I was like, thanks, Jamie. But she just gave me that like 10 minutes ago. So
the next time you see me on a broadcast, I'm going to have a wiener dog clip in my hair and you're going to be like, wait, people actually wear those in public?
No, I was like, when do I wear a hair clip? She was like, you can use them for your chips. So
yeah. Fair.
That'll do.
I mean, keep them fresh.
Okay, we got to talk about your goal. First of all, you're a fan of the Michigan goal. Like you practice this at practice a lot. We heard in the post game that you kind of bug your teammates with the Michigan goal at practice.
I will say, like, if the opportunity presents itself in a practice, like in a game-like situation, I'll do it. Like, and I normally do it just because I think it's funny. Like, I'll be like, okay, like if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it's just like everybody's just like laughing that I tried it. So, but I always go to the rink, like almost every game I'll joke to my friends. I'm like, today I'm going to do the Michigan. And they're like, shut up. Because I've been saying it now for like a year and a half.
Is that the first time you ever scored it in a game?
Yes. I tried it like maybe once or twice in college. And once I like didn't get it up and I was like, oop. And then I think another time somebody saved it.
Oh.
Yeah. How much love have you been getting from the state of Michigan over the last like 48 hours? You first like on the NHL side and the PWHL side from the state to get a Michigan goal.
Yeah. I mean, it's been cool. I think in my head I did it and I literally did it. And I was like, when it happened, in my head, I was just like, we need to score. And I was like,
you were
nothing
laughing,
else.
I think.
Well, yeah. Because at first I was like, nothing else is working. Like I may as well try this. And I did it and it worked. But then like, I don't think I realized how big it was going to be until I came out of the game. And I even like ran into Fargo and he was like, yeah, it's already blowing up. And I was like, oh. And then I like went on my phone and everybody's posting about it, messaging me. And I was like, okay, well, it's really cool. Like, obviously I think everybody's been waiting for somebody to be the first one to do it. So it was cool that it could be me and I'm from Michigan. I had a couple of friends, they'll be like, why are they calling it the Michigan? You didn't score it in Michigan. Like my non-hockey friends. And I was like,
to give it a Google.
Yeah.
Were your teammates not going nuts on the bench? Because I feel like I would be in your ear for the whole rest of the game with that. Like, don't ever shoot anymore. Just straight Michigans. Just skate up the ice.
Yeah, no.
With it on your stick.
I think at first too, even when I skated up to like whoever was on the ice, like Jess was just like laughing. I remember Jamie's face. She just kept like looking at me like this and was like, what? And I was like, And then I came to the bench and everybody was just like laughing. It was like, are you kidding me? And I was like, I don't know. Just came to me in the moment. So it was funny. I was saying like, I was like, after the game, I was like, I care less about like the video of me. I was like, I just wanted to see like even like Jamie's face after. Cause when I saw it, I was like cackling, but I haven't even seen like a good photo of it. Cause Jamie was just like,
even post game in the press conference, that was her face. Like clearly unimpressed, but also happy for you.
So mad.
Yeah. She was just like, what? She was like, that was crazy. I was like, I don't know.
Oh,
what are you going to say now going into the rink every day? Straight up? Are you just going to keep doing it? Like, I'm assuming you've scored in practice, having done this all of the time. So your goalies are prepared. No one's scoring on your goalies.
It's like kind of the end of an era. Like you kind of ended a bit on yourself.
I know. I will say like our goalies do, even our goalies though, like after the game, Abby and Kaylee like came up to me and were like, that was insane. And I was like, okay. But I was saying the other day to like a few of the girls, I was like, what if I just kept doing it?
Just over and over and no one
the
can
problem
stop
is that
that.
You really don't have that's what I was saying though. Like I was like, I would love to do it, but the chance doesn't present itself as often as you'd think it does. Like you need the space and time to like get it going the proper way behind the net. Like it was just like the perfect time. Like Jaguar set a little pick for me and I knew I had time. And I was like, in my head, I was like, now or never, like you don't get this chance all the time. So I think besides that, like one other time this year, I thought like, oh, I could do it right now. And that time I was like, no, you shouldn't. And I like skated it like, so it is like, it's easy, not easy, but it's something that like I can do naturally, but like the opportunity truly just doesn't present itself as often as you would think.
Yeah.
So your teammates now know to like blame Jaguar for setting that up for you. Like she's part to blame, like straight up an assist on the Abby Roque Michigan goal that they'll never stop hearing about.
They should, I should be thanking her because I really I watched the clip because even like when it was happening, I was like, I have time. And then when I watched the clip later, I was like, I only had time because Jiggy like literally like boxed somebody out who's chasing me. And I was like, okay, I can do it. And it helped that Gwyneth is like the only goalie in the league who's reverse-handed. Like there's no glove over there. It's her blocker.
Right.
Yeah, that actually, I didn't even think of that when we were talking about it before. That's such a good point because we were talking like goalies are probably going to start looking for it now. Like they've totally adjusted in the NHL.
Well, with you,
we're looking for it as much in the PW, but there's going to be an adjustment made for sure.
Yeah, a couple of my friends texted me and I was like, honestly, I pictured like Bilka, for example. And I was like, Bilka, I pictured you doing this first. And she was like, okay, I'm next. I was like, all right, get on
yes.
it.
Oh, can't even wait for this.
I love
My
that.
gosh.
We'll see.
I find it very funny that I appreciate you, not only because our dads were best buds from long, long ago, and I followed you from when you were a little pipsqueak, but the fact that you're from Michigan, so obviously that doesn't bode well with Ohio State people, and you are also a Badger, as I don all of my Buckeye gear. I know. Regardless,
you're still repping
congratulations.
even after that loss, yeah.
Stand with my ladies. I still think, I went on a rant already earlier about this, regardless. Were there any good bets going on? You got any good bets that took place with some Buckeyes?
Yeah, me and Paetyn Levis had a little bet going, so she'll be repping my jersey walking into Tuesday. Is that tomorrow already? Tomorrow's game in Ottawa. So I actually have to go get it after this because we're leaving in a couple hours. But she'll be wearing my jersey.
Nice. I'm looking forward to seeing all the Ohio State girls having to wear the bets that they made. I'm looking forward to seeing the Emma Malte one. I don't know what that is, but I feel like it's going to be interesting. Thank you for doing this. Thanks for hopping on with us as always. Appreciate you. And what a freaking goal. You're awesome.
Yeah, thank you. It was fun.
Abigail, we love you. She's always a grand old time. The fact that she always takes time to join us. Remember when she came in and like airdropped into Sarah Nurse's interview? Like she's down for anything.
About that yesterday. Yeah, she's
and we
awesome.
got like that great story out of them about how they like rented that drug dealing car to rip around Miami together.
I would love to see those two in like a Dodge Charger low riding around Miami.
Black tinted windows. What was the song they were pumping to? Like making my way downtown or something ridiculous.
I don't know. It was all good stuff though. Speaking of Sarah Nurse, we can move on to Toronto-Montreal game on Sunday.
Let's do it.
Sarah Nurse activated off LTIR back in the lineup for the first time. Gets a point in her first game back, I'll add. I like how the girls came in repping their Wisco and Ohio State stuff on championship day. Like, I can't get over how fun Sunday was. I wish that Sunday happened more often. It was just amazing. Time? I got to lock in and just like watch hockey all day. And then the hockey was just so amazing. Like, it kept getting better. Yeah. Anyways, this game was part of it though.
It was
this
like
game was
the
appetizer.
Yeah, it was like a football Sunday, but for women's hockey. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I don't like football that much, so this is way better for me.
But that's what I mean. It was like, you know how you sit around on Sunday and watch football all day because there's games back to back to back? That's what it was, but for women's hockey. Nice to see Nursey back in the lineup after, 44 days that she was long gone? The other thing is Toronto Scepters, your team is officially LTIR free. They got nobody left on the LTIR, which is like, man, that took a long time.
First time all season they've had their full roster. Awesome timing, in my opinion.
Totally. Absolutely. You just hope everyone stays healthy throughout the remainder of these games and then well into Worlds. But Toronto with this win, only 3 points back in Montreal for top spot. They are eyeing first place. And we've seen this story before, Julia, because what happened last season?
Yeah. Toronto gets real hot.
They do right at the end. And then they earn themselves top spot. And then they are tasked with the tough decision on who they want to pick. But I think an important thing to note is that Toronto's penalty kill, you need to give it, I guess it's flowers, because this is a major reason why they've been successful. They've killed 22 straight penalties. That is before Pwhl ruined their party, scoring that beautiful goal in this game. Yeah. But 22 straight penalties they killed off. Wow. So this is how this team makes pushes. One, their power play got hot. Remember, that's when they went on that little point streak tear and winning tear. And then their penalty kill just helps push them across the finish line on games that get close, especially against a team like Montreal, who has players like Pwhl who can pinpoint corners and shooting through legs the way she does. But Toronto with the win, they're now on a 4-game point streak, like we said, heading into the time of the year that 1, all of their players are healthy, and 2, it's right before Worlds, where teams really want to have a good grasp on where they're sitting before the last few games of the season, right? Yeah. Campbell had herself a game. It's almost like she realizes, hold on, I'm on this Hockey Canada roster. My Scepters coach is the head coach, and we don't know if Debbie's going to be 100%. So guess who wants that starting spot? She was huge for her team, specifically in the second period. She was busy. She stopped, 32 shots in this game? Yeah. Soupy had a hell of a game.
She played great. Where are we at with Montreal's power play? Like, we talked about it a little bit last week. Like, I know Toronto's PK has been unreal, and that's definitely part of the story. But Montreal's power play, I was just pulling it up as you were talking there. 1 for 5 in that game.
Not great. Yeah.
Still, like, just above Ottawa, 15.9%.
You expect more out of it, obviously. And they were getting a lot of good looks early in the season from it. There's It feels like there was good movement in the beginning, and then now it feels like and they were just free flowing and feeling it, and like that's when your good chances come. I have no problem if you're not going to score on the power play, but you need to gain momentum and like tire a goalie out and maintain zone possession, and they were doing that originally. I feel like now there's a lot of thinking, and they're trying to do things. Do you understand? Like, I'm trying to make this play happen. I'm trying to find the seam. I'm trying to create this play, as opposed to just letting things organically open up and happen and just letting your hockey IQ take over, because all of them have that power play is ridiculous. Like Caleb Barnes, Pwhl, Gardner, Stacey, like it's ridiculous out there. It shouldn't even be fair. And sometimes, you know what? Sometimes you need to pull the Carla McLeod effect and say, just go play. I don't want to see anything set up. Just go play. Or
that's what we've heard from Toronto this year. Like, Toronto's power play has been so awesome. And every time we talk to Troy about it, or like anyone on that staff, they're like, oh yeah, we're trying not to touch that. It's going well. So we're just letting the girls flow. And
which is awesome.
Yeah.
Or you go the other route, like the Tampa Bay Lightning, where you straight up have a setup. And there's 4 different ways to hit the inner slot. And you just keep running through all those different 4 ways until it finally opens and you score.
Right.
2 ways to fix it. That's it. I feel like, with it not going well, every player on that team is a hyper competitor, but there is one player that is a true leader, and that is like Pwhl, who they all look up to. That's who everyone wants to impress on that team, whether they will admit it or not, but that's who everyone looks up to. That's who they want to feed. And Pwhl's a competitor. Hyper competitive. So she's going to get a little bit grumpy when things aren't going well, and rightfully so. I'd be pissed off. I'd be dropping F-bombs everywhere. I'd be telling people certain things. You know what I mean? Probably in a little bit of a heated way. However, it almost feels like that might be a moment for these players where they're like, we have to get her the puck, or it has to happen that way. And if it doesn't, oh my gosh, is she mad? Like that, I get that timidness of them out there, which it's kind of like, you guys are all really effing good. You know what I mean?
And then I guess the other thing
there's an intimidation factor that comes into play. And unfortunately, that's the case, I think. And I hope I'm wrong, but it just feels that way. So you saw Pwhl smile and her eyes get really big, and you saw her laugh when she had scored and made it a 2-1 hockey game, which is great. So hopefully that helped alleviate some of that stress and pressure that they were feeling. But again, Montreal dropping a game that they don't need to drop. They're on a 3-game losing streak.
I know. And I was
good.
going to say, we saw this last year too with the team that ended up winning it all. So interesting thing timing, and when a good time it is to peak. And I don't know. Last year, the team that went limping into the postseason was the team that hoisted the Walter Cup at the end of the year.
There you go.
Actually, I was thinking about something with the Walter Cup the other day that I wanted to bring up. I just reminded myself. So when I was at that Amazon event before the Scepters game last week, they had the Walter Cup there. And the woman from the Hockey Hall of Fame, I'm forgetting her name right now, I was like, oh, where is he? Like, where's Walter? Like, talking about him like he was a little baby. I was excited to see the trophy. And she's like, you know what's so funny that I've noticed about the Walter Cup? And it makes sense because it's the Walter Cup. Like, it's a male, even though it's Mark Walter's last name, like it's a male name. So everyone calls the Walter Cup a boy. And she's like, but everyone calls the Stanley Cup a girl. Like, it's kind of funny. Like, whenever she pulls out the Walter Cup, everyone's like, oh, where is he? Where is he? But with the Stanley Cup, it's always she. Like, where is she? It's just the funniest thing in the world. Yeah.
That's strange. I wonder what it is.
Have like male
I call
and
it
female
Wally.
personalities.
Is that like disrespectful? I don't know. I haven't won it. I've touched it maybe one time.
I didn't touch
Wally.
it just in case.
It's Wally to me. It's
I think
beautiful.
Wally's a good name. It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful trophy. Anyways,
I feel like every team gets a trophy when a team wins, they get themselves their own trophy. So they can name it whatever the hell they want, and they can call it he, she, they, them, whatever the heck they want.
That's so true. That's so true. Yeah.
Right?
But the original one
it's
at
yours.
The hall, it's been dubbed a
One
she.
at the hall.
Anyway, that's my nerdy musing for the day. Let's get to Spicy Tendies this week. Spicy Tendies is brought to you by Ninja Kitchen. Experience the power of the #1 air fryer brand in Canada. Who we feeling this week, Tessa? Who was spicy? Only a couple of games here.
Okay, I have to give an honorable mention to Soupy. Okay, because she played fantastic against Montreal, and I can't turn a blind eye to that. I thought she played great. So shout out to you, Campbell. You played amazing. But I gave a shout out last week to Gwyneth Phillips, and I never gave her the honors. And she earned her honors, every bit of it. She earned this Spicy Tendy honor hands down, earning her 4th win of the season, stopping 34 shots in a must-win game, doing what goalies do, trying to drag their team across that finish line. And honestly, sure, a Michigan goal went in on her. Don't even care. She played so fantastic and so confident in that game and was kind of just thrown into the fire with this whole situation. So props to her. This is her first Spicy Tendy award. I hope she enjoys it. Everyone can give her a couple clicks.
Spicy.
Way to go. Yep. And I don't expect this will be her last. I'll say that because I feel like this Ottawa team's making a pretty good push.
Yeah. Really exciting time, I think, to be Gwyneth Phillips, man. She's on the rise, named to the USA roster. Like, she'll get to be around those players. And now she has this huge opportunity with the Ottawa Charge. If she can get the Charge into the playoffs, it'll, like,
so cool.
She's going to be such a spicy Tendy. Like, her spiciness level will just be unparalleled.
Yeah, we'll just ship her a Ninja Crispy with some hot sauce and some tenders.
You're so right. You're so right. Okay, our interview this week, Tessa. We were not I actually didn't even think about this when we were doing this interview on Friday. And I was like, oh, was Tessa hoping to have like a full Championship Monday Ohio State alumni tire pump episode? I didn't have it in my head when that happened. And then this morning, as I was sitting down to do some prep, I was like, oh, okay. This was such a fun. It might have been what you were doing. I caught on, but I caught on late. This was such a great interview. I spoiled the fact that she's an Ohio State alum. She plays for the New York Sirens right now. Paetyn Levis. I didn't realize like what an incredible all-around athlete she is. But wow, she was so much fun to talk to. I'd also really like to get on the golf course with her at some point, Tessa. I feel like we have to.
Mandatory. Absolutely. I also want to meet her mom, which I'm sure I've met her because I've taken part in, we talk about this ritual that the team does every year, especially when we're at alumni weekend. And I didn't realize it was her mom that started it. So officially just girl fanning her mom, like her mom needs to be on this podcast for the Moms Cast. If and when we talk about this all the time, it's going to happen, people. Inevitably, it's going to happen. But
it's in the works.
Paetyn Levis's mom will be on that pod, as will Mrs. Malte.
Absolutely. Here she is on Jocks and Jills, Paetyn Levis from the New York Sirens. All right, guys, pumped about this one. We always love having Ohio State alum on the podcast. You could tell by Tessa's face. She is fired up to have Paetyn Levis from the New York Sirens on. How's it going, Paetyn? Thanks for jumping on with us today.
Good. Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Go Bucks, go Bucks. We've wanted to have you on. I know I reached out to you for some dirt on Emma Malte. So thank you for spilling the beans on Emma and providing so much good content. We very much appreciated that.
Wait, Paetyn, did you send the eyebrow pic? Is that how we got the eyebrow photo? Oh my gosh, guys, we're talking to a Jocks and Jills legend right now. How would we have that content if it wasn't for Paetyn Levis? Thank you so much. I didn't even know that we got that from you. Thank you. You were doing the Lord's work.
I was really. I'm always here to expose, but unfortunately, I think I might be gotten back on this one. But that's okay.
I was just gonna say that's why you come in here a little nervous because you've done some bean spilling and the beans are coming back in your direction right now.
Yeah,
we won't get to college yet.
No, Emma was so excited. She was like, yes, you're having Paetyn on. Let me gather the girls. I'm like, no. I'm not looking for a lot. I just need like 2 things. So don't worry.
Yeah.
We'll keep it PG. We'll have some fun.
Yeah. We won't get to college just yet, though. We always like to start to find out about how you started in hockey, the grassroots. You're a Minnesota girl. So tell us what it was like growing up and falling in love with hockey for you.
Yeah, I give a lot of kudos to my dad. He was a huge part of my hockey career as a kid. He brought me to a Wild game, and my brother was 2 years younger than me, but it was just me, my brother, and my dad, and my eyes were glued to the game, and my brother was just going crazy to the side, and my dad's like, I think Paetyn might be really ready to play hockey. So on the ride, I actually got a stick from someone, which is really cool. And then I was like, I really want to do this. So when we got home, he signed me up for hockey. And then we were out, there was a pond outside of our house growing up. So I skated out there a bunch. And that's where I learned to skate. And then I just went to play hockey and I pushed around the little chair for one day. And then I was like, Dad, I don't think I need the chair anymore. So it was just, honestly, I just fell in love with the game right from the start. But going to my first Wild game was really kind of where I was locked into it. But yeah, so a lot of kudos to my dad, but we were just a huge hockey family growing up. So
Do you remember who gave you that stick? What player it was?
I don't. I still have the stick in my basement in Minnesota, but I was like, yeah, I have like a cute photo. I was wearing like a USA hockey jersey and the stick is like triple my size and I'm just standing there with it outside the XL Energy Center. But yeah, me and my brother both played hockey growing up and my dad also loved hockey and played hockey when he was growing up. He went to Shattuck actually. So it's just been in our family and it's been a huge competitive nature for us that my mom doesn't necessarily love. But she's been a trooper and she's definitely taken on the hockey mom role as we've gotten older.
We love the hockey moms.
Yeah,
yes,
we do.
She is a true hockey mom.
You need every shade of hockey mom. You need hockey moms that are super involved. You need hockey moms that are like keeping things between the rails. You need every type of hockey mom.
You need the social convener hockey mom.
Yes.
You need the hockey mom that's like printing off the cheer pages so all the moms know what the cheers are.
Yes. Yeah. You need the mom who brings the Jello shots. You need all the moms.
Yeah.
Your childhood sounds like something that was her job.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Was it?
Oh gosh, yeah. I don't know if this is PG, but she started a tradition at Ohio State that, yeah, I don't know if you've heard of it.
Was it her that got cut?
No. She wasn't even there for that weekend.
Okay.
But she feels a little bit responsible. But yeah,
so
she started that.
This is the tradition. Tell them what the tradition is. It involves fireball.
Yeah.
Okay.
It does. So in between the tradition has evolved, but apparently my mom started in between the second and third period of every game. They would go into the bathroom and all the moms would take a fireball shot. And then we started playing well. So then my mom's like, we have to keep doing it. So then it became a thing for like all 5 years. But now it's kind of turned into an every period thing and a little bit. And then now we are standing on toilets and stuff. So there was an incident at the last alumni hockey game where the toilet exploded and some people got injured. But yeah, my mom started that.
Everyone was cramming into the one stall to do the shot. So there was like 12, there was like 4 or 5 girls standing on the porcelain toilet. And it just like basically.
It just went through. St. John
It's even funnier that it's not college girls. It's like the college girls' moms that are standing on the toilet in the stall doing the shot.
Yeah, it was alumni weekend, so we were all there. But yes, there was the moms that were on the toilet. Thank God it wasn't one of us that happened to. But yeah, and thank God she's okay. So it's now a funny story. But yes, that was insane. But it was funny because I didn't end up taking my fireball shot. Because that all happened. So none of us took it. So we were like, oh my God, we have to take it or the girls aren't going to win. But it's not. Yeah. So yeah, it was funny.
That is electric. Okay, but your childhood in Minnesota sounds like it should have been on a postcard or something to that effect, playing pond hockey in the backyard as the snow is falling. What other sports were you playing when you were younger growing up?
Yeah, I actually played softball growing up for a long time. And then I played golf. My dad is a golf pro back home at a course. So we grew up on the golf course just as much as we did on the hockey rink. But so I've always been a golfer and loved golf. And then I played tennis in high school as well. So a little bit of everything.
I heard in high school you were like a tri-sport athlete that was just like bomb at everything they did. Like golf, you brought your team to like the first state tournament in school history. Tennis, you were just a boss as well. And then hockey, clearly, you were a boss there, setting like you finished your high school career, I believe, all-time leading scorer with 139 goals and 58 assists. Like that's insane.
Yeah, it was definitely fun. I loved high school sports just because it was like by season, so you could kind of play everything. But yeah, I definitely golf and hockey were my 2 sports, but I loved being able, it was like you were playing with the kids you grew up with, which was the coolest part of it all. So
cool.
And for golf, like obviously your dad being a pro, you've had private lessons your entire life. So I heard you actually could have gone D1 for golf as well. You chose hockey, however.
Yes, I did. It was funny at the state tournament. My mom was just like, you can like walk and follow like people when they go through the state tournament of golf. And my mom was just following me that day. And she said that 2 Division I golf schools came up to her and was like, oh, like, who is this girl? Like, not knowing she was my mom, and was like, oh, we want to talk to her after blah, blah, blah. And my mom's like, I almost like didn't tell them that you were committed to hockey, because she's like, selfishly, I would love to visit you in Florida rather than Ohio. And I was like, Mom. But yeah, so
Tessa, I feel like you would really get
by-
along with
I
Paetyn's
probably
mom. Like,
could have
this is
played, but-
exactly your.
Oh,
Yeah.
she's like, I would love to go to tropical places versus hockey rinks. So she was like,
Dude, I say that all the time about my kids. I'm like, I want my kids to learn how to play hockey, but I really want them to be a tennis or a golf player, so that if I have to get up at 6 a.m, I'm at least on this like beautiful golf course with nice weather, Bailey's in my tea, or like watching them play tennis in somewhere in Spain, as opposed to like
no,
freezing.
seriously.
Your mom gets it. You're freezing your tail off. Like, come on.
Yeah, she's like, what am I doing here? She's like, I'd rather be at the beach. So fair.
Totally get it.
Yeah.
And then like you go down for a visit, you also have the extracurriculars, right?
Oh yeah. So
Yeah.
I was just around golf so much because of my dad, but yeah, it was.
Did
golf,
Ohio
but not as
State
much as
ask you to
hockey.
play? Yeah, did Ohio State ask you to play for their
No.
team? What?
No, I looked. It wasn't Ohio State. No, I should have looked more into it now, knowing that McKenna Webster did both. Because
Yeah.
golf is definitely like a sport you could do in the spring, like after kind of hockey season.
100%.
But yeah, I never really super looked into it and really dug into it, but I should have tried. Yeah.
Oh man. But like did Muzz know that you were like a really good golfer? Because I feel like she would have just let him know.
Yeah, true. I don't think she knew when I came in. I wasn't really, I guess no one really knew that about me unless you really knew about me. I don't know who told you that, but that's like, a lot of people don't know that about me. But my aunt works for the Vikings, so she gets me in tournaments over the summers whenever some of the Vikings alumni can't go, or whenever there's extra spots open. So I'm like the special guest, which is fun. But it's really nice because we get to golf some really nice courses over the summer. So it's been a lot of fun. And kudos to her for getting me in those.
Yeah, tell Auntie Levis that, if she ever needs another, Julia and I might be available.
Yeah, like, is there highlights?
Get us on those courses.
Do you have like one course that really blew your mind that you got to play?
Not really necessarily one. No, I don't know. We've played so many good ones. It's hard to pick one, but they're really nice. So I can't complain about any of them.
Country clubbing, sweet,
yeah, it's unreal.
So I know every kid that grows up in Minnesota has the dream of being a Gopher. Was that the case for you? Were you a Gopher fan growing up as a kid, and like the Golden Gophers were the be all end all?
I think yes, but no. I would say I'm not as big of a Gopher fan as like some of the people growing up in Minnesota. Like as a kid, I wasn't. Neither of my parents went there, and it wasn't really like a big thing in our family. So I guess I wasn't really like super big Gopher fan. So that's kind of, I didn't have a big pull there. So it was okay for me to stray away.
Yeah. Didn't hurt that bad to leave.
No. My parents were very happy to wear scarlet and gray once I went there. So, and they still wear it all the time in Minnesota. So I'm like, yes.
They represent in Minnesota. I love that. That's ballsy.
That's great.
I know it is. It's very, very ballsy, but they still do.
Yeah, that's true dedication.
I dig.
How did you end up there then? Like, what was the process like to decide to go to Ohio State? Was it Ohio State right from the beginning, or were there multiple schools on your radar? How did you decide?
Yeah, if you ask anyone, I'm not a very good decision maker. That's kind of a common denominator for me. So I had gone to a bunch of schools. Ohio State was definitely one of them, but I had just visited a ton of schools. Didn't really know, like none were like really, really, really catching to me. But it was right when the coaching change happened. So I was actually Muzzy's first recruit. So she just had been watching me because she was at Minnesota. So I had done all the Minnesota things, right? So she was at a lot of the stuff. And then she called me from Ohio State and was like, you want to know what? You should come to Ohio State. Like, this place is great. And I had already gone on my visit before then. But it just kind of like worked out. And then when that, I'm like, I always like weigh my decisions, like it takes me forever. And like kind of when that happened, I was kind of like, I feel like this is like, and I rarely get gut feelings. So it just was, everything was right. And I was like, yep, I'm going. Like, so it was kind of like a weird way to get recruited there, but it all the pieces fell into the right place. And then I was committed, and then, yeah, but I was Muzzie's first recruit, which is really like weird, but it's like a little bond that we have.
That's so cool. And like, what a first recruit. Yeah. Holy smokes. And you and your mom seem like you fit the Buckeye mold just perfectly. So it was the obvious fit. Your gut feeling was bang on. So Ohio State, you were obviously a triathlete in high school, but I heard you discovered another sport that you were like incredibly good at, which is dizzy bat.
Oh God. Yes.
And that could arguably be the hardest of all the sports. Like, that's a tough sport.
She's really good.
Yeah. For some reason, my hand-eye coordination during that is unbelievable. But yeah, I can bomb some dizzy bats. That's like a weird thing of mine, but I'm a well-known, very good dizzy batter.
There was more than one person that told me that too. I was like, really? This is a recurring theme. Unbelievable.
Can you guys paint the picture for people who don't know what dizzy bat is? Like what it is?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Paetyn.
You drink or chug, and however many seconds it takes you, that's how many times you have to like put your head down and spin around the bat. And then once you're done, someone throws you the drink, and then you have to just hit it as far as you could. And oftentimes I was a home run hitter. So
right out of the park.
I don't know how. Yeah. But that's funny that multiple people told you that. That's a good one.
Your softball days were paying off.
I guess they were. And the baseball house was 2 houses down. So like they were always around too. So maybe it was just the energy from the baseball kids. But yeah, we played that sport a lot.
You were trying to get on the golf team and the baseball team. Like you were just trying to slide in there.
Yes.
Yeah. Just a little bit of everything.
Wants me?
That's so great.
Yeah.
So when you decided to go to Ohio State, like how much of your decision went into the idea of like maybe winning a championship with the Buckeyes?
Yeah. Like obviously the team wasn't necessarily like a championship team necessarily when I was recruited, but that was always a goal of mine, which is like crazy to think back on. Like I always had that under like my top 3 goals as a hockey player. But so when I committed there, and then I actually watched them, their first Frozen Four appearance was in Minneapolis. So me and my dad got to go to that game. It was the year before I was a freshman. And they ended up losing in that semifinal game. But I was like so excited when they made that, because I was like, wow, this team is like legit and they're going to be really good. And then when I was able to come in and just the group we had, and Muzzie obviously was a great coach. And so once that all happened, I was like super happy. But I can't say that when I was recruited, I necessarily knew we were going to win a national championship. But with the girls we had, it definitely came together at the right time, which it was so fun to be a part of the first. So
yeah, it's pretty wicked. And it happened in your senior year too, crazy. Right?
Yeah.
But you did super senior.
5th year. Yeah, I did a 5th year too. But then we lost that game. Yeah.
That's okay. We won't talk about that one. Let's talk about getting to that national championship game in 2002. The regional final, first of all, you guys were playing Quinnipiac.
That was epic. That Tessa just said 2002.
2002.
Oh, did I say 2000?
I was barely born. But yeah.
I was going to say, were you even born yet?
I love it. I'm sorry. I had to say it. Keep going, Tess.
Yeah, call me out on it. The regional final in 2022. You guys were playing Quinnipiac. I watched this game. I was working Sports Center and I had it up, and you guys were out shooting them. You almost had 100 shots that game. I feel it was like 72 to 30 something. And you're in the first overtime. Do you remember the moment where it was like first overtime? I literally stood up out of my chair and then I was like, oh, what happened? Paetyn had a chance, Julia, in overtime to end this game. What happened to you on this breakaway play?
I like need to go to therapy over this still to this day. I'm just kidding. But no, I don't know what happened to me. This is like still joked about, like every year on the day it gets resent into our group chat, like clockwork. I will never recover from this. I did like transition skating with my summer coach because he was watching it and he's like, we need to figure this. I'm like, I don't think that was the issue. Like, I think I just like,
I think that
it was just, and then of course, Claire DeGeorge. Yeah, the Claire DeGeorge, so sweet too. She's like, no, it was a bad pass. Like, I threw it in your feet. I was like, no, girl. I'm like, no, it was 100% me. But yeah, that was crazy. I feel like people won't even get it until they see it, but it was a full yard sale. Like, I just tripped over my own feet and it was horrible. So thank God.
Lost your glove? Your glove? Yeah, your glove flew off. Your stick went flying.
That's a true yard sale.
Stick went flying.
On a breakaway.
On a breakaway to win the game. And we had, and it was in the first overtime. Like, and we like, we were bound to win this game, but we just like didn't know. And it was so funny because after that first overtime, we came into the locker room and everyone was silent because like no one thought that they could talk about it because they're like, we don't know if she's on edge. Like, so no one wanted to talk about it. And finally I was like, okay, I'm going to bring it up because like we need to laugh about this.
What did you say?
Or else I'm going to go like... And I was just, I don't even remember what I said, but everyone in the locker room started dying laughing. Everyone started making fun of me. And then from there on, like we went out and scored right away in the second overtime. So I was like, it needed to happen for us to finally get that goal. But it was so funny because everyone was like walking on eggshells around me. And I'm like, no, you guys, like, it's fine. Like, let's all make fun of me. Like,
yeah.
But yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
You needed that to like break the ice and shake the nerves a little bit, I think.
You read the moment perfectly.
Yeah, it was so funny because, now when we look back on it, we're like, actually, that's when we knew we were going to win the whole thing was when that happened.
Yeah.
I was like,
you're welcome, ladies.
Here, have my glove.
I'm like, I'll
it's an
take
epic
that
yard
one for the
sale.
team.
Yeah. It looked painful. I'm not going to lie. Like, did you hurt yourself a little bit on it?
I didn't, and I don't know how I didn't, but I think my ego hurt a lot because I'd gotten just gotten on the ice, and I think it was like my shortest shift of my entire life because I just got off the ice because I'm like, I don't think I can. And I remember Muzzy coming down the bench, and she's like, forget about it right now. Like, we need you. And I was like, and thank God she was just like, whatever, because I could have been in shambles. But yeah, it's still to this day, it haunts me definitely, but good thing everything worked out in that tournament because that would have been tragic. I would have been in a lot worse of conditions.
Yeah. I love you for it. It's the best. It was like, and I watched it in the newsroom, I remember, and I was just like, oh, that poor girl, like this better turn out right. You know what I mean? Like that was hard.
Yeah.
But you guys ended up going on to win that national championship, and you're named most outstanding player of the tournament, which is a pretty big honor for yourself. So first of all, walk us through that national championship game, all the feels that you were going through. One of your, I guess, what do you remember most about that game?
I feel like just going into the game, I remember us all being like, just like we had like such a good feeling going into it. But I remember like that team was just so special, and you can't put it into words, but it was just everything we needed was there within the locker room, and that team was so close. And so going into that game, I think we just like had a good feeling about it. But once we put in that first goal, I think it was on the power play. And then there was like 2 goals that happened when the goalie came out of the net, and we were like, wow, like the puck's just bouncing in the right ways. And then Kenzie finally game-winning goal, that girl. But yeah, I don't know. There's too many things about it, but I just like specifically remember that whole tournament. Like you were nervous, but you weren't like any nervous than like another game, which was like so different to me because you just like had a good feeling about the whole thing, you know? So.
And then when the buzzer sounded, was it just like, because I remember crazy. In 2010, Yeah, I remember in 2010, all the work you put in and like all the sacrifices that your family made and like your teammates went through together and stuff. When the buzzer finally goes, like it feels like a load or a weight is like lifted off of your shoulders and you're just like, like we did
I
it.
know.
Like,
Yeah.
did you have that moment?
Yeah, for sure. Like I remember there was a timeout and we were like in the huddle and that's the first time I got nervous because I was like, wow, like this is like we're so close, but like also so far away. Like, you just have that feeling. And then I remember being on the ice for it and like when you like looked up at the clock and I think someone iced it like with like 5 seconds left and I was like, oh my God, like it was like not real. Like I was like, no way this actually just happened because like we just knew, but also at the same time, we thought we were so far away also. So it was crazy because it was like, we finally did it. Like, obviously, it's a hard thing to do. And for a program to do it for the first time is also crazy because none of us really had a ton of experience in the national championship game. So, and now it's like almost an expectation, not really, but kind of like, they're doing so well now, but it's just crazy that was like the first one. And it was so special because it was just like you thought about everything that you put into that program. I was like, wow, like it pays off. But yeah.
Totally. And I felt like you did a lot of hard work because from your freshman year to your senior year, your points production really took off in your senior year, the year that you guys won. So what was it? Was there a moment in your training or like, was there a moment where you just figured out the style of play in the WCHA? Because for those listening, the WCHA is a wildly competitive division conference in the NCAA. And so like, was it a maturity change in you or what was it?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things. I feel like training off ice, I give a lot of credit to Chris Friend. He was our strength coach at Ohio State, and I went back to Ohio State every summer and took classes and trained there. So he did a lot of work with just speed, change of direction, like all that stuff. So huge kudos to him because he did help me a lot. But I think it was just also like the confidence that the coaches put into me that year, especially. It helped me a lot, and I think at that point I obviously deserved it, but also just like you said, kind of put in a lot of work away from the game in like skill stuff over the summer and a lot of strength training over the summer that year it kind of finally started to pay off, which was like huge for me. But I think also just the confidence my teammates and coaches had in me was also a game changer. Like that fuels you too. So
big time.
And then after college, Paetyn, tell us a little bit just kind of like when you were graduating, because I know you were thinking about continuing school and then you signed a PHF deal and then the PHF folds and the PWHL comes into the fold. So just kind of tell us about what that period of life was like for you. It must have been hectic.
Yeah, it was crazy. I remember we're trying to figure out kind of what we were doing. And I was like, gosh, do I play hockey? Do I not? Like you said, I was looking at school, jobs, everything. I had a couple real job interviews. It was just crazy. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. And then
nobody does.
I remember no one does. I still don't know. But I remember my mom saying to me, like, if you don't do it, you always regret it. Like you can always have a 9 to 5 or a different job, And she's like, if you hate it, don't do it. Like, so, and I was like, you're right. I'll regret this so much. So I decided to sign the PHF contract just because that's the only league that was like confirmed at that time. And I was actually really excited to come home to Minnesota because my mom has a massive family, like 50 people come to my games in Minnesota, like crazy big family. So I was like really wanted to play in front of them and just be home. Yeah. So then I got to sign it with Minnesota. So I was like, yes, I'm coming home. I was like looking at apartments, like gonna move into places. And then it was all like came crashing down. I was like, whoa. And then I was like, oh, I could be up and anywhere now. So it was a crazy whirlwind of emotions of just not knowing where I was going with my life and then figuring something out and then it changing. And then, but I'm super happy that this league obviously came together, and to be in New York was awesome to hear my name called that day. So
yeah, because I'm pretty sure, wasn't it like not even a week after you signed your PHF contract that the league then folded and it was announced that the PWHL was going to be a thing?
Yeah, because I remember I was like the last person, because I was really debating. Not even at that point, I think I wanted to play hockey, but just debating between leagues and stuff. And I was like, well, I don't know what to do. And then I finally was like, whatever, I'll just sign this contract. And so then I signed that contract, and literally 1 week from the day I signed my contract, it was like folded or taken over. And I was just like, are you kidding? You didn't know this a week ago? Like, you couldn't have warned me, but it's like, are you joking?
Yeah.
I feel like there's something I don't know, but yeah. Yeah. So it really did happen very fast for me, because I, again, had finally made a decision and then everything changed. So, but
Yeah, things work out for you
Worked out.
though. Looks like you're pretty comfortable in New York.
yeah,
Tell us
it's
about that
always works
first year.
out.
And I'm honestly curious about the transition from you're playing in the best division in the NCAA, you're playing on the best team in the NCAA at the highest level, and then you come to pro. And I'd imagine just what we've heard about the PWHL. Obviously, we're not on the ice, but we're around it a lot. Last year was fast, and the transition was really hard to go from NCAA to the PWHL. But then this year, from what I understand, it's even faster out there. Have you felt that way?
Yeah, definitely. It's always there's always a learning curve in transition. And I think, like you said, last year it definitely was. It felt like a faster game, even if you can keep up physically, mentally. I was like, wow,
Yeah.
the puck's moving fast, this happening, this happening. But this year has gotten even faster for sure. But I feel like I've noticed that once I play, the fact that I'm really grateful I played last year, because this summer I felt like my training, I kind of knew the speed at which the game happened. So it was a lot better for me training wise. So this transition this year has been definitely a lot easier and a lot smoother. But last year the game did feel very fast. So it is definitely a big transition. Yeah.
Well, your training's clearly paid off. I feel like you get to play with some of the best in the game. Sarah Fillier, Alex Carpenter. What's that like for you?
Yeah, it's been awesome. They've been great to me. They're great hockey players, obviously. I learn a lot from them every day, but I just try to continue to push them and make them better as well. And I think we've worked well together. I think that just our style of play has been good together. So it's been awesome for me. But yeah.
Julie and I love Carp's game face. We think that it's the single most
I'm
greatest thing.
I
Yet
love
it is
it.
also
I'm
probably
personally
the most.
terrified of it. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
no, please don't
Yeah.
hate me, Carp. But also I love it at the same time.
I love
What was that
Carp.
like? How long did it take you to get used to the old Carp game face?
Yeah, it definitely is a transition. I remember last year, I would be so scared. I even played with her last year, on the first game, in the first game of the league in Toronto. I remember playing with her, and I somehow on a face-off, chipped the puck off the wall, and she got a breakaway or 2-on-1 or something and scored. So I somehow got an assist. And from that, I was terrified. And then from that moment on, she was yeah, I love the way we play together.
Nice.
Me too. I'm me too. But no, she's honestly great, but she definitely can be very, very intense. But me and Philly we're a good happy balance for her. But I think she's been great this year, super happy around the rink and great to us. And so yeah, she's been great. But she is funny because a lot of people, I was very intimidated by her at the beginning of last year, and then I started getting to know her, and she's the best. But it's funny because we have little hockey cards that we got from our fans, and they put Philly and Carp on one card together and put the dynamic duo. So I taped my card to it. I was plus the trio.
Plus me, don't forget me.
And I have it hanging, plus me.
Oh, yeah.
And I have it hanging in my stall. So yeah, it's pretty funny.
That's so cute.
Yeah, we joke about it all the time because it's the dynamic duo. And I'm plus me. Plus
yeah,
one.
I'm here too, guys.
I guess.
Yeah, just +1 to the party always.
I love it. I guess that's where we could kind of leave it, Paetyn. Obviously, you guys got off to such a hot start this season, then went through that bit of a slide in the midst of the season. You guys seem to be back to rolling now. I know things in terms of the playoff pictures is tough right now, but just when I saw lots of the girls in Toronto, it feels like the room is still really loose right now, even though you guys are in such a in a do or die situation postseason wise right now. Is that the vibe of the room? Still pretty light?
Yeah, I would say so. I think some of this, obviously, we all wish we could kind of go back to those 9 games or whatnot, whatever it was, but we can't change it now. So I think it's kind of like moving forward, and I think that's preached around a lot because we can't really go back and change it, even though we would die to go back. But I think all you can do is put your best foot forward, and so I think that's a lot of our focus and motto right now, and just I like the hockey that we're playing right now. We're coming off of Toronto was tough, but the 2 games before that, I thought we played really well. So just trying to put good 60 minutes of hockey together and hoping for good results is kind of the motto and what's been passed around the locker room. But yeah, we're pretty light in New York, which has been nice. Fits my vibe for sure. But
Nice.
yeah.
Well, we're recording this on a Friday. You play Ottawa on a Saturday. So this won't drop until the Tuesday, but we wish you all the best of luck and keep
Thank
playing hard
you.
out there. We're big fans of you, Paetyn. And go Bucks.
Thanks. Go Bucks always. Thank you guys for having me. I'm big fans of you guys as well.
Thank you.
We love that. Thank you.
I cannot get over the way that toilet just completely crumbled into smithereens.
So what you need to understand is like she kind of played it down a little bit about like, oh, someone cut their leg. Like there were stitches involved and like bandages. And if you looked closely at the picture, there was also a fair amount of blood on the grounds. But I had seen the picture before like that had happened when they were all jammed into that little stall. There was probably like 13 of them. And I was like, that looks like so claustrophobic. And then Malte had sent me the picture afterwards of the busted toilet. I'm like, well, yeah. And then I was like, is that blood? Everyone okay? She was like, no. I was like, oh my gosh. Note to self, don't stand on the toilet.
Yeah. We'll try to avoid that. Thanks, Paetyn, for coming on. Like, what a great player and a great person.
Yeah.
And excited to watch her career continue to grow.
It seems like she's just having a ton of fun. And I think that's what it's all about. You know what I mean? Like she's putting in the hard work, obviously. Muzz just drills that into her players. But she's just having a lot of fun doing it. And it feels like New York's the right fit for her. How could it not be? Who's going to complain about playing with Carpy in Philly? You know what I mean? Even if you have to tape your hockey card to theirs. But It feels like, she's found a good spot and she's happy. She's in a happy place. So I'm happy for her and her family. And we'll continue to cheer on my fellow Buckeye.
We will. The Send It segment is going to be fast this week. We only got one question just because we had so many people on. We had so much fun this show, guys, and it's been packed. Here it is from Julie. She sent us an email, and I've been better about checking our emails. So you guys can send us emails at Jocks and Jills. jocksandjills@gmail.com is our email. And then anywhere on social media, you can find us at Jocks and Jills, X, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Blue Sky. You can send us a message there. Okay, here's her message from Julie. First of all, I want to say how much I love your podcast. Look forward to Tuesdays and Fridays. Pretty much don't start working until I've watched the podcast. Don't tell my boss. We will not, Julie. And we fully condone this behavior.
Julie's boss, press mute.
We didn't know anything about this and we support her. And also she was in a meeting with us while she was listening to the podcast. So we signed up on that. I had a quick question for you. What do you think about the PWHL having an all-star weekend or even just a one-day skills competition? I would love to see a fast versus Coyne Schofield race. Girl, you're speaking our language. Where are we at with all-star weekend and the PW? So it was fun last year. In the first year of the PWHL, like we had a lot of fun getting to do all the All-Star festivities when they married PWHL All-Star and NHL All-Star together. This year, the focus was more on the takeover tour. I know that like in pro sports, the All-Star game is like kind of starting to be the butt of the joke in pro sports.
Yeah.
Like the NBA's was a total joke this year. The NHL didn't do it this year. They have this awesome like Four Nations tournament. But I think that the PWHL might actually be the league where All-Star Weekend and specifically a skills competition is needed.
I will say that I am all for it. It just needs to be done properly. Obviously, won't be done next year just due to the Olympics.
Yeah.
But like you said, fans, what did she ask for? I want to see fast versus Coyne. Fans should be able to control or at least very heavily suggest what types of competitions they want to see and who do what. Do you know what I mean?
That's so true. There should be like a voting aspect to it.
Yeah. And I like how in some, I don't know, in the NBA, it's like, it's just for fun and whatever. But when leagues have it where whatever division wins, that's who gets home field advantage in the championship.
Yeah, there has to be some sort of stake on it. Even the monetary one they did in the NHL last year was like kind of cool, I thought.
Yeah, there's got to be something on the line, and it needs to be less gimmicky. And I get it, it's hard, but I think too, the purpose, I think what people lose sight of is the purpose of All-Star Weekends is for fan engagement and for fans to get to know the players a little bit better, get to know their personalities. Because quite frankly, we in the NHL, you see like 0% personality outside of like Ovi.
Yeah.
And that's their moment to shine and show their true colors without, getting blacklisted from the league. But I don't think the PWHL has that problem because the league does nothing but support these women for who they are and promotes them for it and really helps give them a platform, to showcase who they are to the core. And so I feel like they're already great at engaging with fans. They're already great at, being themselves and having fun online. But I think it's still cool if they do an all-star just to rub elbows with more people. Because if you open the door, like how many people are actually getting to interact with these ladies at games pre and post? Not many. So if you do have an all-star weekend, you could run panels at bars. You can make it a ton of fun. I would even take the glass down. I remember the NCAA All-Star weekend that I went to, it was in Denver. They took the glass down and it was cool. People were heckling us. Like it was a ton of fun.
Yeah,
I was
that's
all for
awesome.
it. Yeah, they took the glass down on the sides because obviously we were shooting and stuff. So they had to have like the corners
it's
covered.
A cool idea. I've never seen that before.
Yeah, it's great. Easy way to interact. It's awesome.
Yeah. I remember that PWHPA All-Star weekend that we did in Ottawa. Remember that event? That was a really fun event. And the players had a lot of fun. Like that was a very cool event. And it was like right before the PWHL like actually became an official thing. I also really like we saw PWHL players go to the Montreal Canadiens like team skills competition. I think it'd be cool if like teams did their own as well and like got fans in the mix. Maybe against fans, like if fans could sign up to be part of certain skills competitions, I think that'd be epic.
The insurance, my goodness.
That would
we got to get Kiki back on the ice. Where's Kiki
Somebody
from
legally
the East Coast?
From the league is listening to the podcast right now being like, shut up, Julia. Stop talking. No fan versus player competitions, please. Thanks, Julia, for sending in that question. Guys, if you want to reach us ever on social media, you can follow us TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Blue Sky. Did I say X? At Jocks and Jules. Same handle on all of them. If you want to send us a Send It segment question, you can send it there. What a show, Tessa. That was a packed one. Thanks for hanging out with us. It was long.
Hope you guys liked it as much as we did.
Yeah, we like having more people on. Let us know what you guys think about bringing in guests for headlines and stuff like that. We're looking to kind of evolve how we do the show every week, and we want to make sure it's engaging for you guys. So let us know your thoughts. Thanks so much to our sponsors, SharkNinja, Pizza, CCM. Love you guys. Thanks to all of our guests today, Erika, Abby, Kat, Kirsten, Gaby, for hopping on with us, chatting a little bit of hockey. We appreciate it. And thank you guys for listening every week, twice a week. Enjoy the games, and we will talk to you on Friday.